up your YouTube, search for Stukeley Meadows, watch on your big screen.
Or another device if you're at home.
Get yourself comfy, this could take a while. What a happy scene. Something new every day for your long-term memory. This is so exciting, it is nearly time for a Stukeley assembly.
Hello there everyone, and welcome to today's curriculum assembly, and indeed an expert assembly, and there is definitely one coming your way. So let's get started everybody. For each other we, every day we, to improve we, and together we will. And our everyday focuses are, and our Stukeley motto is, and our Stukeley curriculum is, and of course those 4 words. Brilliant. So here we are, another curriculum assembly. We're getting closer to the end of terms. So I promised you last week that I was looking through all of the pieces of paper that I received from classes about your best subjects at school. So the subject or subjects that you think are the best for you, and also getting you to think about why are they best for you. Why do you think they are your best subjects? Why are you best in those? So it's really interesting looking through them, and I promise you all of those that I received, I really did look through them. But what I've tried to do obviously is try to draw out of that what I could learn, because there are lots and lots of bits of paper, and there are some interesting things I think that came out of them. So one thing that I discovered was lots of you really enjoy maths, and you enjoy things associated with maths, so things like TTRS, so rock stars and things. And the reason why maths and rock stars, and even AR, I know that's sort of different, that's to do with reading, but it is connected. The reason why those seem to be really popular and why people thought they were best at them, I think, is because they are measurable. And what I mean by that is that you kind of know when you're doing well with AR because you'll pass your quizzes, and then as you pass more quizzes, you'll get more certificates, etc. You kind of know when you're doing well with TTRS because, again, you're kind of earning points and there are targets, and you know that you're getting better and better because you get faster and all of those kind of things. So I think those are areas of learning where it's really quite straightforward or really obvious how you can measure your success. So I think that's why they're popular. And that might be an interesting thing to think about, especially for us teachers, but also for you, about how you measure success. How do you know when you're good at a subject? And those ones, I think, perhaps you can really tell when you're good at it. The other thing with maths is people said things like, well, because I do all my work really quickly, or I always get lots of ticks, I get everything right. So they kind of get that real sense, I know when I'm doing the right thing. It's not always that easy for other subjects, is it? Sometimes it can be quite difficult to know if you're doing really well in some other subjects. And that's an interesting point for us teachers too, and as well for you. The other thing that came out was it was really obvious that people enjoyed subjects that they felt they were good at, where they felt they were successful at. So if they felt they were good at it, lots of people said about PE, I'm a really fast runner, or I'm really good at football, for example. They felt good about it, so they felt that they were successful because people tell them you're really good at that, or you're really good at running. So they felt it was possible to kind of, again, I suppose, measure their success. They felt they were the fastest, or they felt that they scored the most goals. So again, that way of measuring the success. So I thought that was a really interesting thing. So PE came out really well. People enjoyed it. The other thing that came out was things like art was really popular, and coupled with that, although you might think this is a bit strange, people enjoyed art because they said it was a really good opportunity to feel creative. So it was kind of what we might call an outlet. So they were able to be creative. And some people said that also about writing, that they felt they were able to be creative in their writing. So they felt they were good at that. So I think that's quite interesting, isn't it? That both of those things you might think is really different subjects, but the thing that they both have in common is that it's an opportunity to be creative. And some people also talked that way about music as well, actually. So that I found that really, really interesting. And lots of people really enjoyed science. And they enjoyed science because they just found it really interesting, really getting to know how things work, lots of, about animals and about plants and things. So people just found it interesting. History, also really, really popular. Lots of people like that. They said it's interesting, isn't it, finding out about the kings and the queens and all of those things that have happened in the past. The thing I think I notice sometimes with my class, for example, with Cherry class, is that they tend to enjoy subjects where there's kind of a story. So in RE sometimes there's stories, aren't there, that get told. We look at stories from special books, from holy books. In history, there's often stories, aren't there? In fact, I really like reading history stories. I've read one recently about the 6th wife of Henry VIII, the one that survived, and really, really enjoyed it. So that was good. I think we enjoy good stories. So sometimes those subjects where stories are involved, like history, true stories, but nonetheless a story, maybe an RE that come from special books, we enjoy those kind of things. So all of that was genuinely interesting. And lots for teachers to learn from what information you put in there, and also for you to learn. Think, well, why do I enjoy those subjects more than others? So really interesting. Now, today's expert kind of does link actually, because like all the expert, today's expert talks about finding the thing that you enjoy. And if that's your passion, your thing that you really enjoy, then you're likely to be able to really focus on it and keep striving and keep trying to do really well at it. So that kind of links with what we're talking about, isn't it? Finding those things that we enjoy and trying to think about why. Those of you that know a little bit about Formula One and enjoy fast cars, I think you might find today's expert particularly interesting. So I'm not going to say too much more. I always say that, don't I? Because I don't want to spoil what they've got to say. So let's listen to today's expert. Some more technology, but really good if you're into fast cars, everybody. So enjoy. See you on the other side.
Hello, my name's Mark Gillen and I'm originally from Bangor in Northern Ireland, but a long time ago in 1998 I came over to work in England and I'm currently based in Guildford, Surrey, so just southwest of London, and I've been there for the last 24 years. I'm married, my wife's a barrister, and we have 2 children, a 16-year-old boy, 13-year-old girl, and the house is round full with 2 dogs and 2 cats. So what was I like as a child? I guess I was pretty conscientious, I worked pretty hard, although I was never top of my class in primary school. I was always in sort of the top 10, but never number 1. And I guess that spurred me on to work harder and harder. And the older I became, I guess the better I became in terms of the position in the class. And when I ended up in my sort of degree at university, I got a first class honours degree in aerospace engineering and then a PhD. At school I was good in sport, especially rugby and football, but my real passion is sea kayaking and driving, and I'll come on to the driving bit later in the sort of in the career side. I have a little toy car, much to my wife's displeasure. It's called an aerial atom, and actually I've got a little model of the toy of the little race car that I keep in my garage. It looks like that, so there's not much to it. It's very quick, and I'll come on to, it looks like a Formula One car, but I'll come on to that, as I say, in a little bit. As a kid I was pretty reserved. Whilst I was good at maths and the science, I hated drama. I hated any form of public speaking and always did my best to avoid it. Didn't like taking part in any of the Christmas drama sessions, etc., which is a bit funny given that I spent a large part of my career either public speaking or in front of a camera, and also terrible at music and singing. And I remember to this day that I was the only child asked in the entire primary school to mime to the song in the school concert. And I do find it funny because my son was a cathedral chorister and has a music scholarship. So it definitely comes from my wife's side and not from me. My area of expertise. So I've had quite an unusual career. I've had a very varied career. So I've worked in academia as a professor, teaching aerospace engineering. I worked for the government, helping fund businesses and innovation, and also worked in industry across the world. But the majority of my career has been spent in Formula One. And I guess my expertise is making complex systems such as the Formula One car, such as this little model, looks like a Formula One car back in the day, go as quickly as possible. So working with the driver, working with the team on the design of the car, and making sure that it gets around the track as quickly as possible. And I worked in Formula One for 15 years. I spent 10 years in the pit wall. I started life at McLaren, working in Formula One at McLaren in '98. We won the Drivers' World Championship and the Constructors' Championship. It was actually this car, not this particular model, but the actual race car with Mika Hakkinen, who won the Drivers' World Championship, and this car won the Constructors' Championship. So that was the first time I worked in F1, but I then went on to run Jaguar Red Bull's race team, and the last job I had in F1 was running Williams' race team. So my expertise is in taking things which are as complicated as a Formula One car and making them go as quickly as possible. So continuously improving them to always try and beat the competition. In terms of what do I enjoy most about my role, I guess it's enjoying working with a team of people who are as equally as driven as you are, and always trying to continuously improve the car and to beat the competition. Also, it has its upsides in Formula One, so you're travelling around the world with a great bunch of people. You get to meet fantastic people. I've met royalty, movie stars, been on the red carpet for various events, pop stars, sports stars such as Pele. I guess though my favourite was in Monaco for Jaguar, when I was running Jaguar's race team. We did an event for Ocean's 12, which was a big film release. We had the whole cast. We had George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, Julia Roberts, all there. But what was really interesting is we had De Beers were sponsoring. It was a big diamond company, and this is a model of actually the Jaguar car at the time. And De Beers, the diamond company, gave us 6 really fantastic diamonds, and we put them in the nose cone of the Jaguar. And the driver at the time was Christian Klein, Austrian driver, and he crashed into a barrier. And the whole front wing came off, and this bit here, which is the hanger, I actually have the hanger from the actual car that crashed in Monaco, and we lost the diamond. The diamond, each of them was, depending on who you believe, was around about £100,000, and we never found it again. So somebody in Monaco is running around, or maybe it's still there in the Armco in the barrier in Monaco with a £100,000 diamond. I'm hoping it's got stuck somewhere in this part, which is sitting on my fireplace at home. So one day I'll get it x-rayed just in case there's a 100k diamond in the bit of the car that's fallen off. But it gave you a really fantastic experience, and one that I could only have dreamt of as a young kid. And you know, I love it, and I've loved it ever since. So the biggest challenge in my role, I guess I've got two. One technical and one which probably a bit more surprising, family related, that comes with experience. And I guess the technical one, as an expert, you always want to try and you think you want to do something yourself, and particularly when you're learning to certain expertise, or if you've done a PhD, which tends to be something that's driven by yourself. To be an expert these days, you need a big team, and you need to be able to work as part of a team, a high-performing team, and that's really a challenge. And when you're leading a high-performing team, such as I was running the race teams, that's even more of a challenge, and especially if the team isn't always winning. So at Jaguar, Red Bull in the early days, you know, we weren't winning, so that is difficult. So it's how you evolve, how you learn, how you keep the morale up, how you keep the staff driven, how you keep driving the performance of the car, and that's something that comes with experience. And I guess the second challenge in an expert role, particularly one such as Formula One, where it's very consuming, is that work isn't, you're not just working, the work doesn't consume you. So it's always being able to carve out good quality time for your family, your wife, the kids, what's important, leisure time, and making sure that you're not constantly working. Because in this day and age where it's 24/7 and you can never get away from work, you're always at the end of the phone, it's really important to have some downtime. And the last question I have is, what would you tell, and it's a really good question, what would you tell someone who wants to become an expert? And I'd tell them what I've done, which is find a passion and follow that passion. And you need to be persistent. And I remember when I was, to this day, when I was 13, a teacher saying in a report that I was tenacious, that I didn't give up easily. And I remember thinking about that word, and I like that word, and I use it quite a bit. Don't give up. Follow your dream, find a passion that you really want to follow, but nothing comes easily, and you always, you have to really want it. And for every triumph, you will get multiple failures. And that, the old adage that the more you practice, the luckier you get is very, very true. And for those, if you come on to become an expert and say you're doing research and you do a PhD, it's really difficult. You will eventually come out the other end and hopefully triumph, but through that process, it is difficult. So again, I'll just leave you with finding the passion. For me, the passion was working with high-performing teams. Formula One has been a fantastic career for me. I've learnt a lot, but it's not easy. So it's really important that it is a passion for you, and don't give up. Thank you very much.
Well, there you have it. Big thank you to today's expert. Lots of interesting stuff. As always, I've written a few notes because I like to kind of really think about the things that they've said. He talked about a lot in that, about how to be successful, about being being an expert. He said that actually being part of a team, do you know what, that's come up week after week, hasn't it? The importance of being part of a team. It's not all just about you, it's about being able to work together with others really successfully and bringing out the best in each other, even when it's tricky. Like he said, when you're not always winning, it can be hard to keep motivating yourself. But you have to keep persevering, is what he said, and be tenacious, take opportunities, try things out, take a few risks and see what happens. So that's a really important thing for learning, actually. Sometimes you have to take a few risks and you might not always get it right, but if you keep trying, you'll probably get there in the end. And again, find your passion, he said, find that and follow it. But the other thing that I thought was really interesting today was he said, make sure you take time to have fun and relax. Sometimes grown-ups get really bogged down in lots and lots of work. Sometimes you'll find, particularly as you get older, when you've got lots of exams to study for, Year 6 will know all about this when they had their SATs last week. Sometimes you can be working so hard for things that you forget it's really important just to have fun and relax as well, because that's really good for our brain too. So let's make sure that we hold all of those things together. And as we go into this week, that we're working hard, we're being kind, but we're also remembering to be kind to ourselves and take a little bit of time out to have fun. Really, really important. So have a great week, Stukeley Meadows, and I will see you next time.
Thank you, Mrs. Stevens. Thank you to our expert. It's great to have the videos working again. Sorry about last week. Back on it this week. Right, let's finish up with some birthdays. Hey, 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 it's time to say we've got a Stukeley birthday. Hey, 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 it's time to say we've got a Stukeley birthday. Oh, come on! Happy birthday, Yonnet in year 1 and Chloe in year 2. Happy birthday to both of you. If you didn't have fun at the weekend, you've got the whole of the half term coming up. Celebrate with your friends and family today. Wonderful times. Right, let's finish up with some everyday knowledge for you. And we are learning to remember things worth remembering, learning to remember things worth remembering, learning to remember things worth remembering, everyday knowledge for you. And we are learning to remember things worth remembering, learning to remember things worth remembering, learning to remember things worth remembering, everyday knowledge for you. Hey everyone, everyday knowledge. Let's start off with some flags again. Different challenge today though. I show you a flag. You need to tell me the country, the capital city, and the number on the map. Can you remember the numbers? You're gonna have to try. I want the country, the capital city, and the number on the map. Let's go. Remember, I want the country, the capital city, and the number on the map. Wales, Cardiff, and it's number 2 on the map. Next one. France, Paris is number 6 on our map. Next one. England, London, it's number 4 on our map. Next one. Spain, Madrid, is number 7 on our map. Scotland, Edinburgh, number 1 on our map. Portugal, Lisbon, number 12 on our map. Italy, Rome, number 8 on our map. Germany, Berlin, number 10 on our map. Republic of Ireland, Dublin, number 5 on our map. Well done all of you who got those right. Oh, artist and artwork. Vincent van Gogh, Starry Night. Oh, artist and artwork. Pablo Picasso, Weeping Woman. Oh, artist and artwork. Loon Coonan, Bush Tucker. Oh, artist and artwork. Edvard Munch, Scream. Oh, artist and artwork. Andy Warhol, Campbell soup cans. Apart from the 8 planets, we've also talked about a massive ball of gas, the biggest star. I'm not sure if it's the biggest, but this huge ball of gas. What do we call it? Sun, that's right. See you next time.